Ryan Little.
What's happening, guys? Today I'm taking out the HICAS finally and putting in the GK Tech HICAS delete kit. So I've already jacked the car up, as you saw. So pretty much we're just going to be taking out this whole unit here. So we take off the I think these are just like rear tie rod sort of things. So we take out these and we press out the ball joint, and then we have to undo. There's two bolts. One's just there, and there's another one behind all those cables there up there. And then we just unplug those cables, pretty much just shove them to the side where they're not going to get hurt. I might just zip tie them all together and try and zip tie them somewhere up there. And then we pretty much just bolt in our new HICAS delete bar. Yeah, we'll get started on this. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. The worst part is probably going to be pushing out those ball joints. But I did get a ball joint press, which hopefully will work. It's just like, it was like a $30 tool that's specifically for tie rods. So hopefully that works and we don't have to get like a big press and take the whole hub off. Hopefully we can do it with the hub still on the car. So yeah, let's get started. So we just need to get this little, I forgot what these things are called, but they're not hard to get off. Just need some pliers. But it's pretty much just to stop the nut from backing out. So you've just got to sort of straighten this out and pull it through. And we don't need this again, so if it gets all screwed up, doesn't really matter too much. So that's it there, and that comes straight out. Then we undo that nut, pull off this, and we'll try and press out these ball joints first before we take the whole unit off. And if it doesn't work, I'll probably have to put this back on and wait until I get a some sort of other press, and then I'll have to undo the whole hub to do it. But hopefully we can get it out with just this little, I'll show you the tool in a second. So this has been a bit stubborn and it won't come off even with the hammer. I'm probably just going to go at it for a while with this hammer, see if it comes off. If not, I'll probably have to put like a pry bar under there and rip it off. So, alright, so this is the ball joint remover tool. So pretty much I'm going to try and remove the tie rod off the ball joint with this as well. But pretty much it just slides behind it, and then it has this bolt that will push against this and pretty much just pry this off it. So you just use a 22mm socket on the end of it, and hopefully it will come right off. Free. Alright, so that is this whole arm off now, and now, yeah, I probably screwed that up with the remover tool, but we're going to now, I think this is going to push it out that side, so hopefully this actually fits. It looks like it might be a bit too small. Might be a bit too small. Alright guys, so we got the this bit off. Now we're just trying to get that whole sort of section out, that whole ball joint. The tool that I've got this I had to modify it. It was a it was for a 19mm ball joint, and the one in there is like, I think it's about 27mm. So I just had to use the angle grinder and sort of space that out a bit. So now it fits, but the problem is that the between there is not big enough to fit over that whole section. So now I'm going to have to cut this little, cut the thread a bit shorter, so then it will fit over the top. Hopefully that'll all press out after that, and then yeah, we'll be able to push the whole thing out. I might have to take the coilover off just to have space for this to come out. But yeah, I did, when I used the angle grinder, if I had a vise I would have used that and just done it properly. It would have been a lot cleaner, but I had to I just sort of clamped it onto this piece of wood and yeah, just went at it with the angle grinder just to widen it out a bit. This sort of sits on there like that, and it will now hopefully push the whole joint through. Alright, so all I've got really is this big adjustable shifter thing, so it's probably going to take a while, but the socket won't fit under there, so alright. So it's pretty much just snapped out the whole thing, and now we've got a hole in there. Great. So yeah, now there's an actual hole all the way through. Instead of pushing against this, which then pushed against that, which was supposed to push this whole thing through, it's just snapped these bits out. So I'm going to have to think about what I can use to put on here to now push the rest of it through. Alright, so that's our 20-cent piece now. Alright, so my setup now, I've just got another 20-cent piece. I'm going to put that in first, that sits in there, and then this little metal piece that holds the ball joint in, I'm just going to shove that in front of it, and that'll get us going for a little bit. It's a bit hard to get these out. A lot of people were saying that you have to actually disassemble the whole hub, get it off, and then heat this up a fair bit and just smack it with a socket, but I think it's a lot easier just to buy one of these tools, and I'm sure that a bigger one exists, but maybe just buy this tool and sort of cut the sides out so it fits, and then that works perfectly. Alright, so that's it. I freed it up just using this little tool. I've just got the whole ball joint assembly free. Pretty much after about halfway it just sort of slid out. So that is the ball joint there with its lots of different pieces that I had to destroy to get it off. So now we've got this whole thing free, and we can put our own bushings in there from the HICAS delete kit. So I'm going to repeat the other side, which hopefully goes a bit quicker because now I know how to get it out. But yeah, I'm still going to have to chop this piece on the other side probably, and yeah, do all of that fun stuff all over again. So it is a bit of a mess under here, but I've got the other one out. It took probably about the same time actually to get that one out, because the tool that I was using, that's the original bolt that would push through this thing and let it pull the joint out, but it actually stripped, and then I could not do anything about that. I had to get rid of this bolt, and then I remembered I had an old pulley remover, and it had the same thread bolt. This bolt was just a lot longer, and it nearly stripped through this one as well, but luckily we got that ball joint out as well. So yeah, these are the new bushings. Those are the little bits that you bolt the bolts into, and then these are the actual rubber bushings. I'm going to start taking off all that stuff. It's just 2 bolts. I'll try and show you with a torch or something. All we need to do is take that bolt off, and there's a bolt under there as well, if you can see that one. So they're actually 19mm bolts. I'm going to try and get them off with the breaker bar. There we go. That one's loose. We'll loosen this one off, and then we'll do it with the, get them fully off with the impact. There we go. So when you take these 2 bolts out, the whole thing should just drop down. Alright, so that whole unit just drops out, and we chuck this into the bin. So we can now put in our brand new GK Tech HICAS delete bar. So we've got the bolts that we just took out. We'll just reuse those because the new kit didn't actually come with any new bolts. So that one bolts up. This side has like an oval shaped hole, so I guess, I don't know, you can adjust it, but maybe it's just because it's for I think this kit fits onto an S15 as well as an R34 and the R33, so maybe it just has a different, like an ovaled hole, so that because the S15 might have the bolt just a tiny bit further away or closer, I'm not too sure, but I think we just bolt both of those on. They've got a spring washer and then a big washer underneath, so make sure to put those back on. We can just use the impact, and then we'll probably tighten it up a little bit with the breaker bar just to be safe. Now we can find somewhere to tie this up to. So this zip tie, actually, you can reuse it, so I might just zip tie the rest of these plugs to the actual bar now. So that's nice and tucked out of the way, just until I find a better spot for that. Alright, so now that the bar's all in place and tightened up, we've got our new bushings. So I'm just going to chuck some grease onto this new bushing, and we'll shove that through. Hopefully it's not too difficult. Alright, so that's all in there and nice. I'll just quickly do the other one while my hands are all greasy, and then I think that's probably the only greasy part of this. After you grease that up and push the bushing through, there's these little metal insert bits that the bolt will tighten onto, so you've got to smack those through with a hammer. You probably want to use a mallet or probably a piece of wood, and a normal hammer, which is what I'm going to use because I do not have a rubber mallet at the moment. I'm probably going to stop here for the night, and I'll come back tomorrow afternoon after I finish work. I was planning on driving this to work, but I might have to find a different way to work and just leave this up on the stands. So I'll probably come back tomorrow. Alright guys, so it's now the next day. It's nice and light outside again. We're going to continue on. I think the last thing we we did was put these bushings in there. So now we're going to put the center of the bushing in. Just going to put some grease around this just so it slides in there nicely, and we'll probably just use a hammer to just smack that all the way through. Alright. Oh, you can actually just get it all the way in there without using a hammer, so you can just push that straight through. And that's pretty much it for those bushings there. We now just have to connect the actual arms that connect up into the HICAS bar. Did actually forget to put the little washers in between this bolt and the HICAS bar. I just realised that these two little washer things are supposed to go there, so I'm going to quickly put those in. Alright, so now we've got our little joints here. They do come with a zip tie around it, so just snap that off. These do pop out, so that's why they were zip tied up. But they just sort of slide in there, and then that is your new I think it's called a rose joint, this thing. It sort of acts as like a bushing that can move up and down and side to side. And it does come with these dust boot covers, so you can choose not to use them, but I'm probably just going to put them on. They just stretch around the outside of it, so a little bit tough to get on there, but they just slide right over the top of that, and then you can put your side pieces in. So that just covers up the actual joint in there. You can place that into the hole there, and they supply new bolts because obviously the HICAS didn't have bolts like this, so we can then put that through. It actually might be easier to attach these arms when the HICAS bar is off the car, but I didn't think about that, so I'm going to do it while it's on there. Alright, so that's attached loosely, and then we can move it over and put our bolt through. I might just adjust that out so it reaches. So it's sort of tight when it comes in the packaging, but you can twist it by hand after you loosen it. When you twist this, it actually pushes the wheel in and out, so that then acts as the adjustment for the toe. So now all we've got to do is just tighten up these bolts and repeat that on the other side, and that is the whole HICAS delete kit installed. Alright guys, so everything is tightened up. I've set them just equally. I have no idea what the toe is like, but from here it looks pretty good, so I'm just going to keep it like that until I get the alignment. I'm sure it won't be too terrible to drive, but yeah, I have booked in an alignment for tomorrow morning, so probably going to just go and try and like test it, see if I can drive it down there. If it's too bad and too wobbly, like it's only like a 10-minute drive, but yeah, if it is too terrible to drive, I'll come back and adjust it and try and get it just, I don't know, safe to drive. So I'm just going to let the car down now and see where it sits. So it seems like it is not too bad at all. That is similar to how it looked before I did it. So, and it is sort of similar on both sides. So I'm going to say that that's pretty good, and we'll go test drive that. So now that we've deleted the HICAS system, everything is all good. There will be no more play in the rear wheels when you try and like do any skids or anything. So that's all good, but then when you turn on your car, you can see that annoying HICAS light there. That will just stay on constantly now because everything's unplugged. So you can see there, that's just going to stay on forever if I don't do this simple little thing that just eliminates that light from coming on. So you can choose to take out the whole cluster and take the globe out of the back. There is a much easier way to do it, and I'll show you that now. So instead of removing the whole cluster and going in and taking out the globe, we can go into the boot here on the R33. I think it's similar in the R34, and I'm not too sure about any other models, but you can see up there that there's a bunch of wires there, and we're going to find a green and white wire, and all you have to do is just cut it. You might not be able to see, but there is a green and white wire. That is the wire that sends signal to the HICAS light. So you can just cut that wire and just tape up both ends, and then you're all good to go. The HICAS light will never come and bother you again. So we're just going to snip that green wire with the white stripe on it. And now we can go check on the inside and see if that light has disappeared. I hate the skylines whenever you leave the key in there. It just beeps. It's so annoying. So now you can see that there is no HICAS light. Even when you just turn the ignition on, there's no HICAS light. Now there's no aero lights at all, so we're all good to go.